Well, welcome to another edition of 42nd Street Pete's Grindhouse. And some incident came to light over the weekend, but I have to basically go into a little description here. Because if you pick up, what do you want, Boots? Pick up the dictionary. I was looking up the definition of a mark. And a mark is a person who is being set up for a swindle. And it also goes back to the carnival days when, carnival barkers would pick a mark, someone who, really thought they could beat the system, and basically take him for every nickel he had. It's the same scenario with, the old three-card Monte games in New York City. You'd have a guy playing with 3 cards. He'd have a lookout, a guy who was in on it. The guy who would win on it was in, and the mark would be looking on, figuring he could beat that, and gets taken for every nickel he has. Well, over the weekend, it came to light that Gary Busey is up on a bunch of sexual assault charges from his conduct down at a certain convention in Cherry Hill, New Jersey called Monster Mania. And people are like, ooh, how shocking. No, not really. This shit's been going on since Gary started doing the goddamn conventions. But the problem is, and I'm going back to the mark situation, that a lot of convention promoters are nothing more than marks for big celebrities and basically enable their behavior. Now, in this instance, it's obvious that the girls in question, the fans that were hit on and assaulted or whatever the fuck he did, went to the police instead of the promoter. Because if you go to the promoter, you get a promise, oh, I'll take care of this, I'll take care of this. No, he won't. It's never been taken care of. And like I said, it ain't the first time. There was, I don't know, could have been Monster Mania, could have been Chiller, whatever, but Gary was in a bar talking with some girl, and the girl turned her head to talk to somebody else, and he grabbed her by the face and pulled her back and said, I'm talking to you, bitch. So yeah, this isn't nothing new, and he ain't the only one who's done this shit. But like I said, when you got a bunch of promoters, especially the one on Monster Mania, who are basically marks for celebrities, therein lies the problem. And this whole celebrities can't do wrong deal, which has been proven wrong, with, okay, Gary just got caught. Kevin Spacey is another one. Some of these people we hold up, in this fucking spotlight aren't too cool. And, the problem is with this country, that there's a celebrity obsession, because why would people be paying up to $300 for somebody's signature? And unfortunately, I'm going to go there, it bleeds over into real life too, because we have a bunch of people running for office that are nothing more than celebrity marks. Dr. Oz, Herschel Walker. I mean, come on. And we had the biggest fucking idiot celebrity mark reality TV show host in charge of the country for 4 fucking years. And yeah, I went there. It's fucking bullshit. Just because a guy's on TV and you think he's cool doesn't make him fit to be a leader in any way, shape, or form. But going back to this, other shit. I've, dealing with conventions for over 30 years, I've seen enough fucked up shit. And as head of security for Chiller and shit like that, I try to circumvent fucked up shit. We didn't have these, in the beginning when you had stars that came out that were actually happy to be rediscovered, happy, that they had a fan following. And the only star I ever marked out for was Zachary, because I grew up, he was a childhood idol of mine. So yeah, I sort of marked out there, but that was about it. I've had instances, I'm trying to think of the guy, it was somebody connected with Robinson Crusoe on Mars. It wasn't Paul Mantee, it was the other guy, and I can't remember his name. But he was aggressively hitting on people like Linnea Quigley, Michelle Bauer, Brink Stevens, and other people. And finally, Linnea said, can you do something about this? And I said, you got to back off from these people. I mean, what the fuck are you doing? And I said, dude, you keep this up, I'm going to forget, where I am, and I'm going to knock your fucking teeth down your throat. Leave these women alone. So the story was he called an escort service or something, but it's bullshit. These people come down there thinking, I'm going to fuck my fans. And, I've seen Ron Jeremy do it. He spent more time taking girls upstairs to his room than signing autographs. And, it's a weird situation, but it's uncalled for, and it's gone on too long, and, a lot of it was brushed under the rug with some of these promoters. And I know, the smaller promoters don't put up with this shit. Somebody acts up, they gotta leave. But it just seems the bigger the show, the bigger the mark. And it's like, I'm not gonna throw an excuse out there for some of the women too, because some of these women just behave like atrociously with, so-called celebrities. And I had my own little run-in one time because some aggressive 20-something-year-old was hitting on me all night, and I'm like, I'm not interested. And the only reason she was hitting on me because the big star blew her off. So I'm in the bar drinking with friends, and she's in there chattering like a magpie and shit like that, telling me she has plans for me tonight, yada, yada, yada. And the lady I was drinking with turned around and told her, the only plans he's got is drinking with me. Why don't you leave? And I'm thinking to myself, please don't start a fight in the bar. Don't knock this little bitch out. So the next morning, she walks up to me, and she had a husband with her too, and I don't know if I told this story before, but she's in the same clothes she was wearing that night, still drunk, walking around with a beer, saying, it's painfully obvious you're not interested in me. I go, well, yeah, for a lot of reasons. Number one, I don't screw my fans. Number two, I don't screw married women. And number three, you're nuts. And then her husband walked up and, hey, how you doing today? And I felt like saying, for a guy who almost fucked your wife last night, pretty good, but that's beside the point. But anyway, you know, like I said, this behavior has been allowed to go on and been enabled, unfortunately. And, you know, maybe this will put a cap on it that this guy is actually going to, you know, get in some trouble for doing what he does, because, like I said, it ain't the first time. And it's sad it goes like that, but like I said, a lot of the cool guys that, you know, were good in the beginning are no longer with us, and a lot of the other guys are older and, you know, can't make it to conventions and stuff like that. So what we have left isn't that great. But I don't do them anymore. I'm done with conventions. Honestly, I really enjoy going out and meeting my fans, but certain situations arose, and honestly, I can't sit behind a table for 3 days straight. Sorry. My back is shot, my neck is shot, and the last show I did, I had very little to do before I left, so what was the point of being there? So, yeah. Mr. Busey, you need help. You're almost 80 years old, you're acting like you're in your 20s, and it's got to stop. And like I said, it ain't the first time. I was just reminded that, you know, him and his son were one time down there shit-faced trying to pick fights with people. So it's not a good thing. So that's our little tie-up episode for today. Like I said, you know, celebrities are celebrities, and we shouldn't worship them. They're just people like us that are sometimes terribly flawed. And, you know, again, it's not anybody's fault that these people ran out of things to do and are professional convention guests. But, again, if it wasn't for the fans, you wouldn't be where you are today, no matter where you are today. So instead of ripping them off, abusing them, and, you know, taking their money, maybe you want to be a little bit fucking nicer for a change. So that's my show for today. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for telling your friends. As for the book, Two-Fisted Tales of Times Square, completely sold out, much to my amazement and chagrin, and I'm very humbled on it. But I just ordered another 50, and as soon as they're in-house, I will announce it right on this channel. So until then, stay safe. We'll catch you on the flip side.